Hello racers, and welcome to today's video. In today's video we are going to start Mini-B on-road season 4. Hard to believe that a whole summer has gone by and we're back to racing indoors. Really looking forward to this year. This year what I want to do is change the video format just a little bit. In the video series we won't be doing as many parts reviews. I typically only buy parts for the car that I think is going to improve performance, and we've added quite a few performance enhancing parts to the car, and I'm not sure that there's too many more to do, but really want to focus on is tuning. Maybe some on-track videos zooming in on handling problems, and I'd also like to do more race videos. Instead of just doing a final video to show you how things were going and the final race of the day, what I was thinking of doing is picking one of the qualifiers, showing a qualifying video, probably the best qualifier, and then also show the final, so you get to see a bit of progress through the day. And maybe you guys can comment what you would like to see in this video series. Okay, so let's review the car. This little car started off life as a brushed Mini-B, and we've slowly added parts to it, performance enhancing parts, to get this car placed on the podium. And as many of you remember, or if you want to look back at the final video of season 3, which was the Maritime Championship race, we finally got the car onto the podium, TQ'd the event, but had a disastrous final race. I still haven't fixed the car, but that's what we're going to do today. We got a front tie rod bent like a horseshoe. So to fix that, I bought the JConcepts Mini-B Mini-T titanium set of tie rods. Now these things are super hard to find. I don't know if JConcepts just doesn't make them or doesn't make them in many big batches, but these are like hen's teeth out in the market. And I finally got a set. List price $30. Somehow I got it for $25. We're going to put those on, replace the tie rods. Now it's only the front tie rods. I've bent the front a couple of times in the race series. I'm going to replace the whole front, and just for bling factor I'll replace the rear. Next up, you can see we have a steering block snapped off in that accident. So I did find a set of steering blocks that I had from, just ordered some open parts and got a set of steering blocks. I'll just take this off, put it back on. Should be a very simple fix. You'll notice that the shock end was pulled through, so we'll replace that shock end. And one thing that I've been meaning to do while I have it all apart is I'm going to replace the gear case. Now my car was the original RTR brushed car that we've updated to brushless. The brushless trans case, they call it a V2. I don't know if you can see that. V2 Mini-B BL for the brushless version. They now sell the Mini-B in a brushless, but the V2, and I'll show you here, pack is opened. On the back of it you can see that little hole. I'll take both cases out and you can see it better. Here we go. So you can see across the back it has those two little holes in that slot. That is for a sway bar. So one of the viewers have mentioned that they put rear sway bars on their car and it worked great. And in the last video I put a little heavier spring in the rear, and I found that worked better for rear grip, a little bit more pressure on the track. But what I'd like to try is regular springs, box stock, but put a rear sway bar on the back. Kind of simulate a stiffer spring, but maybe have a bit more, I don't know, with the springs lighter it would squat more. So that'll be a test we do later, but right now to get that test going, I'm going to have the wrench going. So let's put the gearbox on. Okay, so let me update the car, put the parts on. I won't review the setup. We're going to keep the exact same setup from Mini-B Season 3, the final episode. And we're just going to replace those parts, put it on the track. So let's go. Hey racers, I got the parts installed on the front of the car, all repaired. I figured before I went onto the track, I'd just show you the JConcepts tie rods installed on the car, give you my first impressions. Just put the body over here. Now what I did notice is they do give a nice bling factor, and they seem to be pretty tough little tie rods. You can see that they're blacked out, gives you that blacked out look. I did them front and back. One thing that I did notice about it, and I'll let you guys know, is on a standard tie rod, and here's a standard one here, you can see that there's a little line, usually on the left, to indicate where the left hand thread is. Here it is on this little tie rod. See on that side, there's a little teeny line. See that? Now that little teeny line, I typically put the line to the left, so I would know to install that facing this direction on my car. And you can line up all your tie rods the same direction, so then when you're using your little wrench, you're turning them the same way to tighten them or loosen them. Then you can go, all through the car. You don't really have to think too much about it. I did notice on the JConcepts ones though, there is no little line. I looked them over, maybe I can't see it, but I just don't see the line on the tie rod. So I found that. So if you look really close at the threads, you can tell which is the left and right hand thread on the tie rod. So I did install them properly. I was just mentioning that it was a little tough to tell when I installed. And the other thing I found is I do use black grease. I dip the little tie rod into it, and then as I'm screwing it in, there's black grease in the threads, so it makes it easy to put on and off. I didn't install it that way, but I still find that when I tighten them, the right hand side thread won't spin on the tie rod and it pops off. Alright, so I don't know if that's just me doing it, or maybe you guys know of a trick, but that's just my experience, that the right hand thread seems to be a little tight, even with the black grease on the threads. Maybe I'll even take them apart sometime and put a double coat of black grease now that the threads are cut into the ball ends. So there we go. Having said all that, let's go test this on the track. See you there. So here we are, A-Main final. I qualified second. You can see me up in the top left. Yellow car, second place. Had a decent qualifying session, but the car would develop a push as the race started, or as the race went. So let's take a look at the start here and see what we're up against. Now off the start, I kind of went slow and I wasn't really paying attention, so I let that red car ahead of me. We're going to the top right now. Watch as we go through this first lap. Now where the car feels a little funny is at the end of the straight, top left. You can see a little bit of a push there, especially on corner exit. By the time it gets to that corner exit, it's pushed quite hard, and that would develop as the race went. So in the beginning, these first few laps, it looks pretty good, but then you'll see here we are, top left, push a little bit wider once again. So each lap the car would get a little bit more pushy. We are top right, now top left. You can see keeping the same distance between that orange car, white wing ahead of me. Now we're in the bottom right, top right, onto the straight. As you can see, the end of that straightaway, so frustrating. And we're at the bottom right, going on to the straight again. And also what I was trying to do was, I found that if I touched the brakes at all, the car would just come right around, so I had to let the drag brake kind of slow the car down. The car felt a little vague in that keyhole right before. I'll point that out as we go by here. Onto the straight, top left, under the bridge. Looking good. Now you can see I flipped the car, and this was a disaster because I was following that orange and white car. Finally get marshaled, and you can see orange and white car went by almost the same distance. So at this point, a lap down. So a bit of a slow marshal. I just happen to tap the pipe slightly. What you find with when driving a pushy car is that you drive it a lot with the throttle. You turn the wheels as much as you can, and then you add or remove the steering with the throttle. So as you give it more throttle, it'll actually have a little less steering. Ease off the throttle gives you a bit more. So that's how I tend to fight with a pushy car. You drive a lot with the throttle, and unfortunately I must have been a little bit too hard on the throttle, pushed out to the pipe, touched it, and over we went. But you can see the car is actually quite fast, keeping that same distance to that orange and white car ahead. We're almost at the exact same pace. See the car going through the lap. It actually is handling quite well. Just unfortunate that it has a little bit of a push. Well, and once again into the pipe. I think I slowed down for the leader at that point, and as I say, slowing down gives a bit more steering, and that's how I ended up into the pipe. We are going by the orange and blue car. He unfortunately flipped there. Now I got a bit of a clean air, and let's see if we can make something of this race. Car's going quite nice. Found it a bit vague through that keyhole. Top right onto the straight. Again, push, and it's late in the corner before it actually gets a grip. So I'm thinking it's just not rolling over in the front. It's not getting that mid to late corner grip that's needed to come out of a corner nice. Here we go again. Not bad that time. Going under the bridge, through the center, through the keyhole section, chicane, top right, top left. So there we put together a nice lap there. Through the center keyhole, down through, top right onto the hairpin again. Quite pushy at that end, but seemed that I just couldn't put that together. Well, that time there, got out of the line, big push to the keyhole bottom right now, onto the straight. The car has good acceleration. The rear end, you can see, watch it as it goes through, very stable. So there's no issue with the rear of that car planted. It's more about, well, now we got the leader ended up touching the pipe there. So I did catch up to the orange and white car with the white wing there. He's following along. Let's see if I can maintain that distance. Going through the keyhole, chicane, onto the straight. Trying to focus on that corner at the end of the straight. Now, one thing I didn't realize in this race, that you can see, we'll just go under the bridge here. Yellow car under the bridge, orange car under the bridge, red car under the bridge. The orange and red are actually in position for first and second. My car popped a tie rod in the bottom right. Unfortunately, back on the track. That kind of put it under the bridge now, going through the keyhole. So that put the nail in the coffin for this race. The car ran decent, but just tangling with different things. You can see that the quality of the racing is so good. So I'm once again ahead of the orange car white wing. I tagged the corner. Marshall gets it. There's a bit of a chaos going on. So that was close to a position change. That car with the blue. And I kind of let him go here so he can attack. And in the end, he finishes second. So if you like this type of thing, we'll keep this going. Click like, please comment below, and subscribe if you haven't to. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next episode.